Highly unoffended.
And welcome back to Highly Unoffended, another installment here. Mi gente, how we doing today? Ramon, what's up, kid?
Not much. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, brother. What's up, man? How you doing? Everything good? Enjoying the summer?
Oh, yeah. Enjoying my summer.
We got things to do. We got places to go.
Well, first of all, before we even get started, I want to say happy birthday. His birthday was the other day.
Thank you, brother.
Ago.
Thank you. You know, we always do it up since we've been kids.
30 years old again.
Loving it. Ramon, are you watching anything on TV? You listening to anything good?
No, actually, I'm going back to some old stuff. Actually, I'm finishing up Who Killed Sarah. Anybody up on that?
Who Killed Sarah?
No.
Have you watched that?
No.
Man,
I want to send a shout out to Netflix because you put on the outlaw Josie Wales and I'm watching.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Cool. Ramon, did you get that article I sent you about the Portland riot team? They said most of the team turned in their bags.
Yes, I did.
I thought you would find that interesting.
Hey.
So cool, man. Good to see you.
You reap what you sow.
Exactly. Good to see you, Ramon. We got a guest on today, somebody that I met through an old partner of mine that when I worked intelligence. And he told me about this lady that he was working with. And he said, he goes, you got to train her. And he goes, she got a story to tell, Jim. And the first time I met this lady, we started talking and woo! She got me to shut up. So
wow, that's impossible.
Exactly. She got me to shut up. So on today's show, people, we have Kathy Rodriguez.
Yes, sir.
And we became friends through, my Peruvian horse jockey friend and through Uncle Tom, our last guest on our last podcast. Today, hanging in the peanut gallery, hanging out. He decided to come by, steal a beer out the fridge, and sit down.
Uncle Tom, because he's actually Uncle Tom, not because we're trying to be derogatory.
Just to make it.
Right.
Sound like it cut off.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, brother. So we got Kathy here today. Kathy, how you doing?
I'm good.
It's great.
A pleasure.
It's great to see you. I know we've been trying to get, you're busy as hell. And like I said, I didn't want to call you anymore because I said, man, she's going to put a case on me.
Never that.
I said, I don't want to be on the dock here.
Never that.
So I said, oh man, I said, and you know how it is when shit lines up, it lines up.
Completely.
So you know what I mean? I really love that. The shit lined up with us today. Kath, where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
Springfield,
Mass.
Yep. Born and raised.
Wow.
Born and raised out in Springfield, Mass.
How'd you find your way down to these neck of the woods?
My mom.
Your mom?
My mom. Yeah.
So how old were you when you started wilding?
Listen, when I started wilding, all right, we gonna jump right into that. Highly unoffended, huh?
You tell me.
That's
Tell me.
what I'm talking
tell
about.
me. You tell me. Tell me what you want. Come on, kid. We're
Okay.
here. We're
Yes.
here, and
so highly unoffended. This is what it is. So born and raised in Springfield. For those that don't know me, my name is Kathy Rodriguez. Growing up in Springfield, I was raised with my dad. So my dad raised us 4 kids on his own.
4 kids.
4 kids.
All girls?
2 girls, 2 boys.
Okay.
2 girls, 2 boys.
Where do you fall in? Older, younger?
I am I'm the youngest, actually.
Okay.
I have to think about that one. Yeah.
So they say usually the youngest is the wildest.
Well, only because I act like the oldest. That's why.
Okay.
So, I got to hold it down most of the time. So I kind of get a little confused as to, am I the oldest or am I the youngest?
They say the parents get tired by the time they get to the youngest. So usually the youngest is the wildest.
Listen, my father's got to be exhausted then. My father's got to be exhausted. But needless to say, you know, growing up in Springfield as a young girl, you know, mom picked up and took off. And I say it like this, you know, the story of my life is an open book. There's absolutely nothing that I don't hide. There is absolutely nothing that I'm ashamed of. It is what it is. So, you know, being born and raised in Springfield, mom took off. You know, dad raised us 4 kids on his own, 2 girls, 2 boys. Special shout out to my dad if you're listening.
Definitely happy Father's Day.
Yeah, completely.
I know he's listening because he subscribed today. I got
Listen, the first one, buddy.
I saw it. I got the
the
email.
the first one. But you know, it was rough. So growing up without a mom, you know, you see your neighbors, you see other little kids, you know, other girls, you know, you got your hair done, you got clothes done, you know, you got name brand stuff. You know, parents that come to every function for the schools. Uh, I didn't have any of that. You know what I mean? So it was you know, wing it type stuff. You know, dad did what he was able to do, work 2 jobs. One thing that I can say is that he maintained that tradition of, you know, every Friday night, he'd buy his little 12 pack of old Milwaukee Best. It was payday. He'd sit in front of, you know, the stereo and he'll listen to his oldies.
Was you old what? Was you listening to?
Mr. Bojangles.
You listen to the
and-
Motown?
Oh, yeah.
No
So,
Fania? Okay, this
uh,
is
listen, whatever oldies it was, it was. So the joke was between, you know, me and my siblings as to who's gonna sit with him. Because he'd sit there and he'll call us over and he'll be like, "Hey, come here,
And he-
put the headphones on, listen to this." And we sit there and be like, "Nah, this is not what I want to do." You know what I mean? I'm like 11 years old. I don't want to listen.
my man
to
was
no-
getting all nostalgic.
yeah. So we used to have to take turns with my dad because, you know, my dad is very emotional.
Unbeknownst, no, those are the moments you cherish.
Listen, I'll tell you,
That's-
and it's passed on
It's-
to my kids.
It's so funny
Yes,
that you're saying
yes.
that. And I shout out Ed Calderon, Ed Manifesto, because today he put a little meme of a little kid sitting in a chair, like rolling his eyes. And he said, me listening to my mom's music while she cleaned the house. And you know, now as you get older, when you hear that music,
Yep.
that shit hurts now.
Yeah, it takes you back.
Exactly.
Completely.
That's
Takes
just
you back.
it's a passport.
Yeah, of course. And
You-
it's
you
almost
know.
like a smell. You smell something and it'll take you back to whatever it is that reminds you
Totally.
of. So
I
the
hear-
same thing with the music, you know what I mean?
I
With
hear the
yeah,
music, I smell the pine sol.
completely. Bien boricua.
Yep.
Bien boricua, you
El
know?
pine sol,
Yeah,
pine
yeah. Bien boricua. So, you know, dad was a very emotional guy. So he'd sit there and he'd listen to that music and he'd cry. And we know what he was crying about. You know what I mean? He's a single dad, has 4 kids, you know, wish I can do more for you type stuff. So, you know, the challenges came throughout, you know, my life as a young girl becoming a youth. So needless to say, you know, my sister was the oldest. She did most of, you know, kind of like the cleaning, the cooking. I did the cleaning most of the time. And later on in life, I realized that cleaning was a therapeutical thing for me. So it worked. You know, mom came back into the picture. She left. I was probably about maybe 10. And when she came back into the picture, I was probably around, I want to say 12, 11 or 12. And she one day decided, hey, you know, she's going to head out and she never came back. So dad did what he had to do to raise us, and that's what it was. She came back into the picture. Hey, I want to see the kids. So my dad was like, sure. At this time, this is where she lived in. She lived in Hartford, Connecticut. So this is how we all of a sudden came into Hartford. And um, the story goes, we started staying with her on weekends. We didn't want to go back to Springfield to our dad. Being with our mom was almost like a free fall. So now we're in the projects. Now we're, you know, 12, 13 years old. We wilding out because we have no supervision. You know, mom is doing her thing. And we didn't want to go back to dad's because at dad's you have discipline, you have structure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we ended up leaving dad and staying with mom. So what dad did was like, oh, that's what you guys want to do. All right, that's fine. Go ahead. Go do what you got to do. Right. Go with your mom.
So 13,
right?
so 13 years old, you had half it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, está
In the
bien.
projects. Rice Heights, Chatter Road, that
okay.
whole area out there.
Candela, Candela.
Yep. So my dad ended up leaving Springfield and ended up getting an apartment right across the street from my mom to watch us. So my dad was always there.
Damn.
Always there.
Yep.
Yeah. So throughout the years in the projects, you know what I mean? A lot of running, a lot of chasing. Every time we seen dad and we were smoking in the corner, everybody be like, "Oh, your father's coming, run quick!" And I seen a lot of running. My dad chasing my sister all the time. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Dad, go back to Springfield.
Right. Right. But I wasn't really so much into the smoking, into the drinking and that type of stuff. That was kind of more my sister. My brother was into stealing cars because that's what he got himself into, right? I became more the promiscuous one. So while
You got boy crazy.
well,
Early?
yeah, kind of. As a young girl, being in Springfield, I went through things that kind of turned me into becoming promiscuous. So, like I said, anything that you think a girl went through, I possibly went through. So, uh, being molested and being, in that category, that was me. And girls at that age, you either do a couple things. You either become promiscuous or you just shut down. I chose to be promiscuous, and that's how I ended up being kind of where I'm at now. Um, I got married really young. I was 16 by the time I was legally married, which till this day I want to know what judge that was,
Yeah.
because in your right frame of mind, like,
Who
why
marries a
would you say,
16-year-old?
yeah, why
Yeah.
would you say, it's okay, you're 16, you're okay to get married, right? Like,
Say 1920.
yeah, who would do that? You know what I mean? So now that I'm older, I sit back and I look and I'm like, wow, like I question it. I would freak out. I would never in a million years allow for my kid to get married at 16 years old. So I was a teenage mom at that age. I had my daughter when I was 15 and dropped out of school. I wasn't even in school. I'm still trying to find truant officers. You know what I mean? Like where were y'all?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Somehow I slipped through the systems, as they would say. And dropped out of school, wasn't in school, hanging out in the projects. Drinking, smoking. And chilling and thinking that I was John Gotti type stuff. I met my ex-husband at that time, and that's who I was married with for 8 years. So I had my daughter, who is now, oh God, I don't even want to know. I think she's 26. I can't get these dates down. There's too many kids. I can't figure it out. I gotta ink them up on my body, and what's the date of birth? Hold on, let me look at my shoulder real quick. I got 3 grandkids and a little one. So, it's a lot of kids. It's a lot of kids.
I got a 30-year-old. I got 3 kids. I got 3 grandkids myself.
Listen. So you're always busy. But I have a daughter who's 26, 27, and my son who is 21, and then got remarried and have a 7-year-old. So, and my 3 great, amazing hood grandkids. Cause I don't, you know what I mean? I don't hide them. My grandkids are hood as can be. Love them dearly. So that's how I ended up in Hartford, and kids and dropping out of school, and needless to say, getting into the streets and thinking exactly what every teenage young person would think is cool at that time, which is dropping out of school and being in the streets and hustling
You're
and
invincible. You're
yeah,
bulletproof.
completely until it ends. So
One day your world comes crashing down. All of a sudden, it happens.
listen,
When did it get ugly, Kath?
man, I tell you. So I turned 20. Let's just say that I spent my early 20s in prison. So
Talk to us how we got there.
so hustling in the streets, just like I said, you think you're invisible, right? You hustling, you doing this, you're doing that. Catch a case.
This is never going to end.
You catch a case. That's it. You try to fight your case. You try to do what you can to prove your innocence. At that time, what happened was, because I was so young, we had attorneys that were my ex-husbands, and kind of figured and said, hey, she's young. Let's just, put it on her. They're not going to do anything to her. You know what I mean? Next
All
thing
sounds
you-
like a good idea.
Man, next thing you know, I'm standing in front of a judge and I'm getting sentenced to 15 years suspended after 8. So I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm saying this can't be real.
Okay, so when you got locked up, did you make bond? Did you fight your case from inside or outside? Let me ask that question.
So both. So
Okay.
my very first bond was 250 grand. That was my first bond. Bonded out with that one. And then so when I got
So
found
10% of that, 25 grand to get you out.
yeah.
Coño.
And that was 2 people. Yeah. Because his was probably 3 at that time. So you fight the case, and then you go to court, do what you got to do, get found guilty, and go into Niantic once you get found guilty.
Women's prison, yep.
Yep. And then you asked if you can fight your case while being outside. So the judge granted that, and we did what's called what do you call that when you post a house and that type of bond. So
Real estate bond,
yeah.
or
So
cash bond, yeah.
yeah. So I was out. I was out for a very long time fighting my case and appealing it. Because you try to do whatever you can and you try to spend whatever money you can to stay out, to
Trying to
stay
stretch
free.
that bitch out like
You know,
taffy.
I'm saying, you got 2 kids to live for. Nobody wants to sit there and say, hey, I got to be gone for 8 years. That to me wasn't even a thought of, right? So now I'm living my life out in the street after getting sentenced to 8 years, and now I'm fighting it and I'm appealing it. There's so many thoughts that come through your mind, right? Like any day they can sit there and call you and say, hey, you got to turn yourself in. Like your bond has been denied, right? Your appeal has been denied. You've already used up all your appeals. Like
So
there's
you're exhausted.
that's it. You're done with your appeals.
Every day is like your last day.
Every day. So, it was the most difficult time just about of my life to think that one day I'm going to get that phone call. Hey, you got to turn yourself in. That's that. Until the day came. So June, I remember, would never forget. I got the letter. You got to turn yourself in.
What year?
Everything has been
What year was that?
2001.
Okay.
So June 1st, 2001, I had to walk into Lafayette Court. So I had to walk into Lafayette Court and turn myself in. I sit back now and I think I walked into Lafayette and never came back out.
Now, when you walked in there, who was with you?
So I had a good friend of mine because at that time I had already gotten divorced. It couldn't keep the family together. It was just, it was impossible. Your mind is everywhere. You're trying to live. You're trying to suck in as much freedom as you can. It was just impossible to try to keep the family together. I had 2 kids by then, and like I said, you walk into Lafayette. I remember when I had to turn myself in. I saw my kids and my older daughter. I remember telling her, hey, you take care of your little brother. I'm going to be gone for a while. And, that was one of the hardest things that I had to do.
That's serious. That's when the wake up.
Turn around and walk away from my kids. And at that time, I'm real religious, like, spiritual. Like my biggest thing is God. That's number 1 for me.
So you went into Lafayette that day, you go in front of the judge. And how did you feel when they hit you with the numbers?
It wasn't even real. It wasn't even real. Like you hear it, but you're in disbelief. There is absolutely no way. You're sitting there, you're saying there's absolutely no way.
Because they told you what, 15?
Yeah, 15 suspended after 8.
Because I don't know, one reason, I don't know, maybe I'm a little fucked up in the head, but I always watch that when you watch court cases and you see motherfuckers collapse.
Yeah.
When you see cats just, like they just got hit with a bat, and you're just like,
Yeah.
When I see that, I'm just like,
Yeah. And
Uncle Tom, thank you for stopping by, brother. Always welcome, brother.
Much love.
Later, baby.
Love
Thank you
too.
for the visit,
Take it
homeboy.
easy, Tom.
So I always watch that part, and I just see that, you see the hardest motherfuckers, the hardest. And when the judge tells them, blah, 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 you see kids.
That's it. You faint completely.
Let me tell you, I worked inside for 22 years.
Yeah.
That first night, you see a lot of people. That first night is a scary night for them people. I felt for some of these people.
Yeah.
There's actually a show on that.
Yeah.
You see that on Netflix? It's
Yeah.
called First Night and Last Night.
Mm.
It's a documentary on dude's first night and their last night after a long time. It's sick.
Like I said, working that county, I got to see, a lot of dudes the first time in, and they look like a deer in headlights, like me at a football game. I don't know what's going on, but it's so when them numbers hit you, you just said it felt fake.
Yeah, it wasn't real. It wasn't real, not one bit. I remember when I had to turn myself in, and the very first day that I walked into Niantic, I sat there and I looked. And
How
I
old were you,
said,
Kat? Sorry to interrupt. What are you?
22. 22.
What the
That's just beginning to have fun.
That's
right?
it. That's the
the
beginning
fuck
of
were me and
life.
you doing at 22?
I was working inside.
You know,
Yeah.
me and him were trying to go out and find beer specials at 22.
Yep. At
So you're 22. You're walking into the
22.
women's prison.
Yep. And I remember standing in that facility, in that compound, and I look around and I sit there and I turned around and I asked the CO that was there. I thought this was an all females prison. What the fuck?
Mhm.
What the hell was this? And she said, "Oh yeah, it's an all females prison. Go ahead, go." And I'm looking around and I'm looking at chicks that got a head like yours, Jimmy. A head like yours, man.
That ain't a good thing.
You're bald as can be. You know what I mean? Bigger than you, big, and I'm sitting and I'm like, oh,
I heard there was
man,
a
this
sign
is-
that said liquor in the
Yeah.
said poker in the front, liquor in the rear.
Listen, I said to myself, this shit ain't real. This shit ain't real. But
What's your name, sweet thing?
right. My name is nothing. How about that? Where's my cell? Hurry up.
That must
Where's
be an
my
experience.
cell?
Holy smokes.
So,
It
so you
was.
walked in and it got real.
Completely. So throughout my years of being incarcerated at York CI, a facility that holds 1,400 women, population max security, level 4. I remember that my very first year, all I did was cry. I'm talking about from my whole first year, all I did was cry. That's all I did. And at that time, because I was sentenced and my sentence was so high, I was able to. They put you in a unit where the sentenced females are at, and most of these females are in for life.
So it's a little quiet in the unit.
You got 5 and above. You ain't doing no less when you're in that unit.
Yep.
So needless to say that most of my roommates were lifers, and they're already settled in. They was probably already in 5, 6, 10 years.
You were the new kid in school.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And here I go coming into their room, and all I'm doing is crying. So all I can imagine is them telling them, "Yo, get this chick out of here, bro. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not dealing with
That's the
it."
difference between the convict and the inmate. The
Listen,
convict looking
man.
at the inmate leaving, they stop
Yo.
crying.
It was rough. It was rough. But I have to say that the second year, there was something that clicked in my head. And I remember, I would never forget. I'm standing in that compound and I'm looking around me. When I was home, I had everything. There was absolutely nothing I didn't have. I lived in West Hartford, little mansion next to Governor Rowland. I was good. I was living it up. Cars galore, money, jewelry, everything, fame, kids. You look to the left, you got somebody there. You look to the right, you got somebody there. All of a sudden, here I am standing in this facility. I look to the left and I look to the right. Absolutely nobody there
All you.
at all. Nobody there. So then all of a sudden, you that's hitting reality. Now you sitting there, now you soul searching. You ain't got nothing else to do. So now I sit there and I start questioning myself. Wow, man, what do I got to show for myself, right? Absolutely nothing. No high school diploma, no education, no anything. I was a mother to 2 kids that I couldn't offer absolutely nothing to. And that was reality. That's when it hit. That's when something sat there and it clicked in my head like, I got to turn this around. As a kid, this was never my dream. How the fuck do I end up in Niantic? This wasn't my dream. As a kid, I've always dreamed of being a lawyer. Being young, watching Perry Mason. Who the watches Perry Mason at like the ages 8, 10, 9? You know what I mean? I used to sit there and watch all the
You
episodes.
said Perry
Perry
Mason.
Mason, bro. I took it there
Puerto
all the way
Rican chick
back.
watching Perry Mason.
Yeah, man. I took it back. Yes.
Jimmy got the box set right there. Who we talking about?
So the dream was real. You know what I mean? The dream was real. It was installed in me. Seeing my father's work ethics. You know what I mean? Seeing my family's work ethics. My aunts, my uncles. We was a tight knit family, and they were very successful, and to this day they are. you know?
Not a stranger to the grind.
Yeah. So then, that was always in me. And this is definitely not what I had in store for my future. So I decided to go back to school while I was in there. And it was then that my life started to change. It was then that when dumb teachers took me in, I got to tell you, man, special shout out to them teachers and to teachers everywhere completely. Because I always said a teacher can either make you or break you. You know, I remember walking into that school building, and when dumb teachers, they sat there and they said, "Hey, we're going to strip you of your old identity. We see potential in you, right? We see drive, we see passion in you. We're going to strip you of your old identity, and we're going to create a whole new one. How about that?" And I said, "I'm in. I'm in." Started going to school there. I was in there for a long time because GED is 4 years of school in one book. And I'm trying to pick up from middle school, needless to say. Yeah, I'm trying to pick up from middle school. So I was in that building for a long time.
I mean, you got a chunk of time to do, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. So why not do the work, right?
Right, right. So I'm sitting there and I'm going to school, doing what I have to do. And you take your test and you fail, right? Now you got to wait either 4 or 5 months later to take your test again. I mean, that right there was discouraging, you know what I mean? Because you just sitting there, man, I got to do another 4 or 5 months. And no matter how long you've been in there, you can't even think of you end up doing 1 week from that day. So never mind thinking of 4 or 5 months. Damn, bro, I got to put in 4 or 5 months again of work to have to take this damn test again. But you know what? Boom, you do it because you got them teachers that encourage you every single day. Yo, don't stop, don't stop. Let's go. You got this. You got this. And just like that, that became my safe haven. That building, that school building right there, going back to school became my everything. That's where my power came from. That's where the knowledge came from. That's where the encouragement came from. The inspiration came from is by being in that school. That education just blew my mind completely. There were so many things that I was learning that I didn't even know existed. And I sat there and I said to myself, man, if only I had this on the outside where you had people that would encourage you. If you had people that were there by your side when they saw you slipping, yo, boom, let's do this, let's do that, or guide you or help you. That's why I'm a big advocate for mentors. It's huge the impact that people have on other people when they want to see you do good, that they'll stand by you and walk you through. But when I ended up, staying in the building, it was the freaking that damn GED test. Well, I'll tell you about one point. It was always, failed, failed, failed. And at the end of it, I sat there and I told my teachers, I was like, yo, like I'm done. Like I've been here forever. Like I'm done.
You guys fucking with me or what?
Yeah, that's it. Right. One point away, like they can't give it to me. That's craziness.
little sympathy. Can you see I'm
Yeah,
trying?
You know?
Can I get a curve on this bitch?
Yo. So in that building, they had different classes that you were able to take. So you had culinary arts in prison, you had cosmetology in prison, you had, they taught you how to do floors and buff and do all types of stuff in prison. So I sat there and I said, I'm done with this GED type stuff. I'm about to go to cosmetology, right? Go have some fun over there. And I remember that throughout my years, I was matched with a mentor. And there was a program in prison that you participate in this program. And once you complete it, they match you with a mentor because they want to know your personality. They want to know, what goals you have so they can match you with the right person. Let me tell you, I was matched with the perfect person because my biggest goal was to get that GED. My biggest goal was to seek that education, that knowledge. That's what I was hungry for. I wanted to learn. I wanted to know. I was young going in there, but I never had that even in middle school or high school. I never had that experience or even the knowledge of anything that was being taught. So I was hungry for it. So they matched me with a mentor who was a professor. And I said, bro, this can't be real. Like for real? Like, yeah, shit. PhD, her husband, a principal. Now her daughter's a teacher. This lady came from that's what she was about, was education all the way. And I remember she used to come 2 times a week throughout the years. And I tell you, because of her, I was able to hold on. And I remember the last time that I failed that GED after a couple years of being in the school, I sat there and she came to visit and I said, Sherry, I said, listen, I gotta tell you something. I said, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm done with it. Like it's been four times I've taken this GED. I've been years in this building. Like I'm so over it. Like I'm done. And she sat there and she looked at me and she said, do you hear what you're saying? You hear what you're saying? You're saying that you're quitting, that you're giving up. That's what you're saying? So throughout the years of me coming here and you saying that you'll never quit, you'll never give up, and that's exactly what you're saying right now. She said, "Girl, you better take your butt back to school." She said, "You better hurry up and go get that GED." She said, "You want to do cosmetology? When you come out, I'll pay for cosmetology. But as for right now, you go back to school." And I didn't want to let her down either because I felt that I had the only way that I can ever repay that lady. The only way I can ever repay that lady is by becoming successful. That's it. So I ended up going back to school. And the teachers looked at me like, we knew you was coming back, right? Like we knew you was coming back. So I was like, back, whatever. So I ended up taking my GED and I ended up passing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
How were you doing personally? Were the kids coming to see you?
So
What was going on with that personal stuff?
Because
the-
that affects the process again. That
completely,
GED.
completely. And I got to tell you that because of the support that I had, I was able to focus on myself, right? So I wasn't really too concerned about, my kids' well-being because they were with their dad. Majority of the kids, they either end up in DCF care or in foster care, whatever it was. But I had a very strong family support and mainly my father. So from day one that I went in there, if there were 4 visits a week, my father was there 4 visits a week. And throughout the years, as I was getting stronger and stronger, I sat there and I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, you don't got to keep coming up. Like I'm good. Like I'm okay. Like you can fall back. I'm okay. You can breathe a little. So he would come probably once every Sunday, type stuff. So and when he used to come up, he'd always pick up my kids. So I watched my kids grow up through a visiting center, from little to growing and growing and growing, and seeing my daughter, mainly my daughter, because my son was little as can be, but my daughter, that was right there my biggest impact of seeing her grow and having her there, being able to touch her, being able to have her, sit on my lap or just hug her and, that type of stuff. When you had a good officer on, you were able to do that, hug her and touch her and, hands on the table. But, everybody has their own ways. So, needless to say, when you had that officer that was, real strict, yeah, you got to follow the rules, and it is what it is, right? I really wasn't able to hug my daughter the way I wanted to, but I saw her grow up through a visiting center, and that was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through in life, was to be able to see that. So, I tell my kids now, I apologize to them all the time, right? Like, I can't hide it. I'm real with them. I can never give you 8 years back. I can never do that. I said, but what I can promise you is that I'll be here for the rest of my life. That's that. And if that's how I got to make up for it, then that's how I'm gonna make up for it. So I mean, it took a lot of counseling. It took a lot of therapy for us to get to where we're at right now. So we're at a good space now. We're at a good space.
Fabulous to hear that.
Yeah,
That's good. That's real good.
completely.
That you hear that story often, but like you said, you grew up without your mom being in your life all the time, and at
Yeah.
least you were able to, even if it was behind the glass in the
Right.
visiting room. At least you were able to see her and talk to her and give her some
Right.
guidance. You
Yeah,
were
yeah.
there.
She's got a big responsibility on her now because I've kind of passed the ball over to her because I feel like I kept that cycle going where my mom left me and I left her, and now it's totally up to her to break it. Because you ain't leaving anybody. That's for sure. So yeah, you definitely gonna break the cycle. So but it's all good now. It's all good. So I ended up getting that GED. uh, I became one of the speakers for when I got that GED. I remember I invited the commissioner, I think it was Lance at that time, Commissioner Lance. to come personally to the graduation, and she came, and a lot of media coverage and stuff like that. And I remember when the 10 o'clock news little headlines, hey, a lot of crying and a lot of happiness over at York CI, a lot of graduates, and the one picture that they showed was my dad crying right on the 10 o'clock news. Uh, it was rewarding, and it was it was sad at the same time because
A bittersweet moment.
yeah, of course, because at that nobody wants to that's not where you want to be, plain and simple. But I ended up getting through it. So I ended up taking everything that you think that Niantic had to offer, took full advantage of every single program that was there, every single program. Um, when I got to my 7th year is when I was looking forward to parole.
Damn, son.
7. So 7 years in, I was looking to face the parole board. So now I'm in 7.5. All of a sudden, you have that incident with the whole Pettit family.
Oh yeah.
So my hearing was on a Tuesday, and that whole thing with the Pettit thing happened like on a Friday. So governor banned parole.
Yeah, good luck with that, huh?
Yeah. Everybody that was out ended up coming right back in. So there goes my parole hearing. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. Done deal. I waited so long,
Timing,
7
timing.
years, 7 years for this moment, and for it to just be gone just like that.
Two fucking assholes fucked it up
Yeah,
for everybody.
yeah. So 7.5 years in, I remember talking to my brother, and I told my brother, I said, Ephraim, hang in there, bro. I'm almost home. Because I remember my brother saying before I turned myself in, he was like, yo, damn, like, I can't do the time for you. Like, yo, you got kids. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
He
can
said, let's go on a run.
yo, can I just go in there and do the time for you? And I said, man, that's not how it goes. I'm just gonna have to face it and just deal with it and just do it, right? 7.5 years in, boom, my brother became Hartford's 31st homicide victim.
Oh damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you were locked up when he passed.
Yes.
That sucks. Hartford's off the hook.
So I was never able to see my brother again. He became Hartford's 31st homicide victim, like I said. My brother lived in Avon, married with, his wife and his girl. His boys, called him up, hey, let's go out. From what I heard, he was a little undecisive. Then at the end, he was like, bump it, I'll go hang out with you guys. So my brother's best friend had beef on the street. They went to go shoot and kill him, and they ended up shooting and killing my brother. So I remember the day that I got the notification. They called me out of my unit. They bring me over to kind of like the medical unit, mental health unit, and they bring you into a conference room. And at that time, I was already high profile in prison, anyways. I was always out 24/7. I was doing floors. I was chilling. You had the warden that walk in and be like, "Yo, like, what's up with this girl, bro? Just give her a badge." You know what I mean? But she always out. Like, what's good with this? So I go over to the medical unit and I go into this conference room, and I see a captain that comes in, I see another captain that comes in, and I'm like, oh bro, this ain't good. I said, this ain't good. I said, I know I ain't doing nothing. So, then all of a sudden you see more people come in.
Mental health, you
And-
see the
yeah,
chaplain comes in.
More people come in and more people come in, and and I said, well, what's happening?
Chaplain don't come in for disciplinary shit.
Listen, right. Unless you're ready to confess.
Yeah. You got a Bible.
I wasn't ready to confess, man.
You got a Bible and I ain't on death row. We're good.
Yeah. I wasn't ready to confess anything, So they asked me the question. They said, do you have a brother? I said, yeah, I have a brother. He said, what's his name? And I said, don't be asking me no questions about my brother, bro, because that's where it kind of something just triggered inside me, and I got so angry. And I said, well, don't be asking me no questions about my brother. Like, what's good? Like, what? What are you telling me? What? He said, sorry to say, there was an accident yesterday. And I said, all right, an accident. All right. We're going to make arrangements for you to go see your brother. Your brother passed away. And I said, nah, bro, this can't be real. I said, nah, this can't be real. Not one bit. And I remember when the captain said, let her call her father. And that's when it hit me, because they don't just let you use the phone. You know what I mean? No, let her call her father. And I remember calling my dad, and I said, Dad, is it real? Is it for real? I said, Dad, maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it wasn't him. It can't be him. And I said, yeah, they identified all the tattoos like it was him. And I hear the family in the background. I said, yeah, it's real. It's real. So I had to sit there in the cell and wait for the day that they allow you to go see him. And the way that it goes, the procedure is you're the only one that's able to go into that funeral home by yourself. That's it.
We've done a bunch of them.
That's it.
Yeah, you know, it's you, the body, and the funeral director.
And the
Now,
COs.
where was it at? Where was it at?
De Leon.
All right, right across from the little
Yeah.
Dauphine Park.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated
Yeah.
that place.
Yeah.
I've
Right
been
on
there
the edge of Park Street.
Yeah.
I've been there so many times
Yeah.
over there at De Leon. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pull out of there, everybody's freaking, hey, yelling at you. You're like, ugh.
Right.
I've been to De Leon too many times. You know?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is this De Leon?
Yeah. So, you know, it was me by myself and two officers that were very standoffish and very cold and hard. You know, that kind of made the whole process just as bad, you know. So I remember walking in there slowly by slowly. And I used to sit there and say, it's not gonna be him. I'm about to just walk up in there, it's not gonna be him. And then as I walk up there, it was him. So if there was one thing that really kind of broke me, it was the death of my brother. And to this day, I hold on to it, but I hold on to it and turn it around into something positive. You know what I mean?
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I don't never hold on to anything negative, because it's already negativity. That doesn't exist in my life, bro. Not one bit. I've overcome too many challenges and
You're
obstacles.
already locked up and all this.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
about as
happening.
negative as it gets.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
You can only go up from there.
It's not gonna happen. But you know, that whole process of my brother, that was the biggest thing that I ever had to deal with. And I'm gonna share a little story real quick before we move on. I remember one time where I couldn't take it anymore. So it was probably like a weekend of my brother's death. And I remember sitting in that cell, and you're by yourself, and when you're in jail, it's just you and your thoughts.
And
that's,
the weekend sucked for you guys
Oh,
because
it's the worst.
there's no activity. You guys,
None.
you know, during the week,
The
you guys
worst.
are out and about the weekend.
It's the worst.
Oh, that's real.
It's the worst. Just you and your thoughts, you and your demons, you and everything.
Trust
That's
me.
it.
I used to remember my workers.
That's it.
They would hate Fridays.
Yeah, it's the
Dude.
worst. It's the worst. It really is. And I remember I sat there and I said to myself, "This is it. Like I can't do it anymore. Like I'm about to hang it up." And throughout my years in prison, you always sit there and a thought like that, of course, crosses your mind, because you're human, dude. There's absolutely no way you're gonna think of doing an 8-year bid. When I had to walk in there, I said to myself, I said goodbye to everybody, because I thought it was gonna be the end of the world. Like from 2001 for 8 years from there, I said the world's gonna end. The world's gonna end. I said my goodbyes to everybody. Like that was it. Being in prison is like being dead but yet alive. So you're living both. You know what I mean? People don't remember you. You're only a name. That's it. Out in the street. You
First-
remember Cat? Like, yeah,
First
like
couple
what's
of weeks, everybody want
That's
to talk
it.
to you, fill your books up, and
That's
then after
it.
that, see you later.
Oh, it's a done deal. It's a done deal completely. So you know, it's a thing where you're dead yet you're alive.
Did you have anybody leave you for dead that you ain't really think that they was gonna get down like that? Anybody that you thought, oh man, that's my peoples, mi gente, and all of a sudden they were just ghosts? Nobody let you down like that?
Nah, because I really didn't expect anything from anybody.
Okay, that's huge.
Not at all. Not at all. The only people that I've probably expected from, and that you don't really expect it for them because it's not their responsibility. You know what I mean? And I kind of knew that they were going to be there for me, was completely my dad, my sister, my immediate family. That's it. But my dad wasn't one. My daughter, my dad, and my daughter. My dad and my daughter. Those two right there were the ones that held me down.
Well, by you saying Dad moved from Springfield to Hartford just to make sure he kept
Oh,
an eye
yeah,
on you, I knew he was going to be there.
Automatically.
So-
Automatically.
So you're locked up on a weekend. Bad shit's running through your head.
Yes. So I'm sitting there and I know the time when the COs are gonna come around and do their tours, right? So you got that every 15-minute type stuff. So you every 15 minutes, boom, you waited for the guy to go. You say you got 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes, here I am. I'm sitting there. When I tell you my shirt was drenched, because all I did was cry, right? Like all I did was cry and cry and cry because the thought that I had in my head was just too much, right? So I sat there and I took a sheet and I started twisting the sheet. I started twisting the sheet, twisting the sheet. And I said, 15 minutes. My shirt is drenched completely from crying, right? 15 minutes. I got that sheet. I'm ready to hang it up. I'm ready to hang it up. Here I am fighting
You got that
myself.
bitch twisted up. You ready?
Listen, I God forgive me, like I'm sorry, da da da. But I just can't take the pain no more. It's just too much. I'm ready to just end it. That's it. So I wrapped it, and once I heard the CO leave, I was ready to do it. Right. Next thing you know, 2 minutes came by. Boom, CO turns around, and this is unusual because when you ain't gonna have a CO come back, in 2 minutes. They got 15 minutes. They're about to use their 15 minutes, right?
They're gonna use 16.
Exactly. right. So now you hear the door, boom, and you see the CO coming, and all of a sudden you're like, shit. So I'll take the sheet and I unwrap it and I'll put it to the side. And I didn't want to show, the guy my face because my eyes were just so swollen and my shirt was drenched completely just with the thought of what I was about to do, right? He sits there and he comes to my door. Rivera, you got mail. Fuck, I got mail like at 3, 4 in the afternoon. Like, that's crazy. Shoot, slides it under my door. I said, all right. Boom, he leaves. He sits there and he leaves, right? So I said, mail, ain't that some shit, right? Nobody get no damn mail. It's probably on Saturday and shit. Ain't nobody, what the fuck kind of shit is this? So I sit there and I go pick up the letter. And when I pick up the letter, it was from my sister. Like, I haven't heard from my sister in so long, right? And all of a sudden, I get this letter from her. The one day that I'm ready to think of hanging it up, right?
Yeah.
So I'll take that letter and I'm sitting in my bed and I open it up. And all I had to do was just read the first part of it where I opened it up and she said, Kathy, whatever you do, don't do nothing stupid, please.
Fucking she's already twisted up. Woo.
Damn. Ding, 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 ding,
Talk
ding.
about
Reset.
Saved by the bell, huh?
That's when I said, ain't that some shit, bro?
It's a fucking
I'll tell you,
sign.
that was some shit. That's when I said, okay, boom, Cat, shake this shit off, yo. Gear up again. Let's go. Let's go. You only got a little bit more to do. You got this shit. You got to make it home. You got to make it home because I've seen girls go in there and never fucking come back out. You seen girls across your cell fucking hanging it up and shit, and you over here beeping the intercom for COs to come through.
What was the last? What was that like? The first time you seen a body swinging?
Ah, dude, that was crazy. Cold Purple. I remember that shit. Cold Purple, bro. That's cold.
You got it.
Yeah. You run there, you untie that shit, try to do what you can, perform your CPR, and ain't nothing. They out of there in a black bag, zipped up. That's it. Facility locked down while they take that body out. I've seen it too many times, bro. I've seen it too many times, and I have refused.
2 hours later, business as usual.
Yeah. I had refused to be that. I refused to be that bag, bro. There was no way. I said, I gotta make it home, bro. You better fucking gear up, do what you gotta do.
So you untwisted that sheet.
I said, it's a motherfucker, bro. I swear. I said so many sorries to God. So many. I'm so sorry, God. Forgive me. Forgive me. And I think within that prayer was where I got my strength at. Where I just kept saying, forgive me. Boom. All right, here you go. Here's all the strength you need.
How long after that incident did you get out, Kath?
It was probably after that. I probably stayed in there for another maybe 4 months when I was released. So I just had a little bit more to pull through, and I pulled through, bro. I made it out. That's it. I made it out alive, and I remember, the whole thing there is hey, when you leave and you're in front of the facility and you see the sign and you see the name of the building, they said you never look back because it's bad luck. That's what they always say. You leave, don't ever look back to the building, man. I remember, I fucking turned around, bro. That one day that I was out, so my dad picked me up. I remember that shit, bro. Don't turn around and look. I need to look at where the fuck I was at for 8
So
years. You know what I mean?
Dad came and got you on release day?
Oh yeah,
Cool.
completely,
All right. So
completely.
how was it then? All right, you're back out. You got to catch up on life. You got to catch up on family. Talk to me.
Listen, my first day, my father says, "So, what do you want to do? What do you want to eat? Where do you want to go?" That's the first place I went to was the cemetery. That's the first place I went was to go see my brother. Food, I wasn't even thinking about food at that time. I was literally culture shock. Let's just put it that way. So when my dad got off the exit, and now all of a sudden the Flatbush that we have, that Walmart that's there, when I left, that was Shorty's, bro. That was the projects. That
Yep.
was everything. That was D-side, Chatham Oak, all of it.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden I'm getting off this exit and I'm seeing Walmart. I'm seeing, what happened to Shorty's, bro?
Yep.
Gone. When I tell you culture shock, I ain't even know what to do. I stayed at my dad's house. My father was the one, stayed there. And my dad has a fence. And I remember there was times where I didn't even want to cross that fence. I was just so institutionalized, bro, that I didn't even know what to do. And I used to cry. My father used to get frustrated, right? Like, what are you crying for? What you missing? You want to go back? You want to go back? Like, what you doing? Right? And I didn't even know how to answer it. Like, I didn't even know, But throughout the years of learning the experience and being in training and being a speaker and moving forward, you look back, right? Like, there's people that aren't as knowledgeable with the situation and how to handle certain things, because you're just dealing with it as it comes. Nobody's trained you for this shit. Just like the whole COVID, the pandemic, we weren't trained for it. There's no instructions on this.
You're learning on
You
the
know what I
fly.
mean?
That's how we learn.
Yeah, that's it. So, gradually, it all fell in place. And I remember I used to go for interviews, and my father would give me his last $5 after paying his bills out of his pocket. Boom, here's $5. I used to take my $5 and I used to walk with my kids from my dad's house to McDonald's to be able to spend time with them. With that $5, I used to buy cheeseburgers, dollar menu, and sit there with my kids just to spend that time and bond with them. And I remember going for interviews. I go to Salvation Army, buy some suits, get all suited up. I remember going into Taco Bell, boom, hey, and putting an application. The manager hired me, everything. I went back the next day. He was like, nah, can't hire you. You got a felony. I said, bro, it's Taco Bell. This ain't no bank. This ain't a bank. What the fuck kind of shit? I'm about to roll up tacos, bro. Like, damn, for real?
All the degenerates that go there to buy tacos, and you worried about me?
Yo, so I was like devastated.
Believe me, I'm gonna know the people coming.
Might work some deals, you know what I mean? But, hey, it'd be some legal deals and shit. We'll work it with tacos instead of something else.
She said this ain't no bank.
Yeah. So I was like, this ain't no bank. Like, damn, like you denying me.
So the next day, homeboy dissed you.
I was like, all right. I was like, okay, boom. I was like, now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, bro, this shit gonna be harder than what it is. So, and needless to say, it was. I had to face so many challenges, having to apply for jobs and getting denied, and door closed here and door closed there, and to the end where you just sit there and you say, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, I don't even know how to get on my feet. Like, I wouldn't even know how and what to do. I had no idea. And I remember one time my homegirls, they took me out, right? And I said, yeah, Kat, come on, about to take you out. And we went to Capricio's. I remember that shit. Yeah. Went to Capricio's.
I used to work with the owner of that place.
Listen. So they took me out, and they over there wilding out. They dancing, they chilling, they doing their thing, right? It was like 12 o'clock in the morning, and here I am. I'm stuck. Yeah. That's what they was doing, right? I'm standing there, posted.
They use on the block.
You want that hood shit,
Posted.
Cap?
It was on the
Cap, you want that
Posted.
hood rat shit?
Yo, I wasn't even on that level. I was not even on that level. Mentally, there was absolutely no way I was going to let myself loose. Ain't no way in hell.
You was looking at the exits. You know where everything was
Yo,
at.
stop. Yes. So I was really, I don't want to say institutionalized, but I just came from a very disciplined place, a very structured place.
Watch your back, bitch. Watch your back.
That shit made a huge impact in my life. I took them 8 years, and I took them and I applied them to myself. I didn't give the state 8 years and just walked away with shit. There was absolutely no way in fucking hell And I have to say that there was staff there that build me the fuck up. Every freaking day there was always, every shift there was always that one staff. Yo, Cat, I see this in you, bro. Go this way. Take this route. Take this path, bro. Do this, do that. Sometimes I used to act like I was in the military when there was this one staff there. Boom, Rivera. And I used to sit there and say, inmate Rivera, number 253997. Yes, sir.
Jesus.
For years. And I had that shit down pat, bro. I was like, yes. But it was shit that I loved, though.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nobody's telling you to do
Yo,
that.
I grew on that. That to me was everything. I was like, yes, give me more. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted. I wanted to discipline myself. I wanted that structure. So now here I am in Capri shows and shit, 12:30 in the morning while my homegirls over there shaking their booties and shit. I'm over here posted, just looking. And the girls come up to me and say, yo, we took you out so you can, relax and chill and enjoy, you're free. Like, what you doing? I said, I'm free. I'm free. Trust me. I'm free. Just know that while you over there dancing with this dude or that dude, chick can come behind you. And the one that's posted, the one that's going to have your back. You know what I mean?
She gonna see that bottle coming.
Yeah.
That's
But
hysterical.
in my head, what I was doing, I was sitting here and I was thinking, what can I do? Now, here I find myself in this club. I'm looking around. Trying to figure this shit out. My head is always going like, what the fuck can I do to build myself, right? Check this. I went back the next day. And I was praying. I said, yo, I hope dude is there. I hope the manager's there, bro. I hope the manager's there. But go up there, walk up there and shit. I had tacos and shit. I wasn't, looking cute, whatever, just in case he want to flirt. I was like, okay. We can do all that. You know what I mean? We can do all that. I'm okay with that. Yes. Yeah, I'm okay with that, right? So I sat there and I walked in and dude was there. And his wife was there. So I was like, well, shit, let me button up real quick. Let me button up. So I go in there and I sat there and I said, hey, are you the manager? He said, yeah. I said, oh, Kathy, nice to meet you. I said, I just got one question for you, sir. And he said, what's that? I said, I came over here yesterday and I realized you ain't have any female bouncers. And he said, nah. I said, yeah. I said, damn, you ain't had no female bouncers? All these girls you had in here? You ain't had no female bouncers? All guys? He said, why? You want to be a bouncer? I said, yes. Absolutely, yes.
Fuck
I
it.
need to be a bouncer. Yes. And he said, you know what? So come tonight. And just like that, that's how I got on my feet. So now here I am bouncing. I was probably about the only chick bouncing in Hartford's nightclubs at that time. I went from Envy to Casonas to, Capriccios. I did them all. So I spent about a good 5-6 years bouncing in Hartford. Then I ended up training girls and doing all types of stuff.
Paid the bills,
But
right?
that's where I ended up getting my connections from. So now I'm standing at the door. Now I got local Hartford PD with me. When you start meeting people and then all of a sudden that's when you start networking. Hey, why don't you do this? And why don't you come for this event? And why don't you do that? And I volunteered for everything that you can think of for the city of Hartford. I've done so many public speakings for everything. I've been part of training. I've trained law enforcement. It's just been a journey that you can't even imagine. So needless to say, I ended up applying for a pardon. And that was like maybe 5 years of me being home. I applied for a pardon. I remember going to this lawyer. I want to apply for the pardon. Would you take it? And he said, yes. How much? All right, boom, here you go. Right? So I sat there, paid the guy off. I said, what do you need? He says, oh, I'm going to have to, we're going to wait for this and I got to get this report and I have to get, no, bro. Give me a list. Tell me what you need. Because I'm not waiting for anything to come in the mail. I'll go get the shit for you.
Oh, I already have it.
That's it. And just like that, the very next day, I remember I rented a car from 8 in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I went everywhere. I went to parole, probation, to Middletown to get all my reports. Went back to the lawyer, said, boom, here you go. Submit my shit. And at that time, I was already married. So I got remarried. And while I was bouncing, I was living it up, right? So I ended up getting a job. I was working at a gas station, I remember. So Airport Auto Body, loved them. They knew my history. They knew where I came from. I ended up working for them for about a good 5 years.
Took a chance. There you go.
Completely. And working in that gas station is where I met my husband. So So I met my husband. My husband's a truck driver, and I remember seeing him across the street at Dunkin' Donuts. Big guy, right? So I used to sit there and I used to look and I used to be like, damn.
Like, you do look good.
Yeah. I was like, okay, right? Like, only if he come over here, right? Like, shit, all right. And I remember one time he had a delivery and came over. Man, I ran to the bathroom. I got myself all hooked up and shit, freshen up. You know what I mean? He's coming in. He's coming in. And the guy walks in there. He ain't even noticed nothing. He just walked in there and just got a little snack bar and just left. I said, ain't that some shit, bro? I'm over here trying to pump it up and shit. Like, you ain't even acknowledge nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Kathy's a shark.
Yeah. So anyhow, I ended up
for you.
Yo, right. I'm going harder next time. So he ended up coming back, and that's how we ended up staying together. So I've been with my husband going on 10 years now. I have my little 7-year-old, and I'll tell you, this man has been the biggest. I don't even know the word for.
He's a very laid back dude.
Oh man, the most humble man you'll
He's
come
a very
across.
laid back dude. You know,
Yeah.
the evening I spent with him
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
He's very laid back.
The
dude.
most humble man you'll ever come across. But when I tell you the support, everything is there, he became my rock. And he became exactly everything that I needed to be able to move forward and become who I am today. You know what I mean? That support, that solidness, that man that has your back all the way. That is him until this day. 10 years after the fact, I sit there and I say, damn, my husband's about to divorce me because our schedules are like, I barely see him,
Yep.
right? And I work, on weekends sometimes, so we don't get to spend that much time together. But I told him, I said, on the opposite side, we gonna last forever like this.
Mhm.
This is how we gonna last forever because we don't see each other.
Y'all ain't gonna wear out. Y'all ain't gonna wear out. Y'all ain't
Right.
gonna see each other.
Right.
Sometimes that's what works.
Yeah.
The unorthodox.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to find ways to make it work.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you got out. You got your pardon a couple years later.
Yep.
You're hustling. You told me when you were here one time for something, I don't know. And I hope she don't get mad at me, but you told me about the story about your daughter was slipping and what you did with her.
Oh man, that was the best.
You gotta
yo.
hear this.
Nah, that was the best. That was the best. So we ended up moving to Avon when I came home. I ended up moving to Avon so I can spend some time with my niece and my sister-in-law when my brother passed. And my daughter chose to come live with me as soon as I came home. And she came from a very good family. Her father had her stable, everything. So always raised her in West Hartford, Newington. He did really good with them, And then when I ended up coming out, she chose to hurry up and come with me. And I don't blame her. I didn't blame her not one bit. But I sat there
Sounds
and I
like your
told her,
story.
yes.
Mom came around, you went with mom.
Yes. So I sat there and I remember telling her, I said, listen, I can't give you what your dad gives you. I'm sleeping on the air mattress. And she said, I'm sleeping on an air mattress with you too. That's it. And from then on, we was rocking and rolling. But I tell you, this girl gave me a run for my money. She gave me a run for my money. So we lived in Avon. She really wasn't feeling it. She was in high school at that time. I was bouncing. So I was getting home about 4:00 in the morning. 4:00 in the morning, I go home and my kid ain't there.
Huh?
So I said, oh, whoa, hold on a second. Hold on. Teenage at that time. She trying to find herself. I said, oh, she's trying to play me too at the same time. Like she's testing me to see how far she can go with me, right? Like you just came home, you ain't my mother shit. Like, you've been gone for 8 years. You ain't gonna sit there and tell me what to do now type shit, right?
So you want to play games?
So
Call
I
me
said,
coach.
okay. I got your ass, right? Where you at? Oh, running away. It was always running away. So she used to run away. So from Avon, she used to run away and go to Hartford. Boom. I had my peoples in Hartford already. I was already connected with Hartford, bro. Already connected with Hartford PD. It was so much that I even got connected with Avon PD. You know what I mean? Shit, like the officers, I was already connected with them. Hey, yeah, she ran away again. All right, because you got to report if you don't report the shit, So I sat there and I told her, I said, I remember one time I said, yo, I'm gonna get your ass. Trust me, it may not be now, but I promise you I'm gonna get you. I don't know who you think I am, right? Like you think I'm about to just fall back and let my kid be a hood rat in Hartford. And I'm about to just fall back and allow that shit. I said, you must have lost your mind. You
Been
not
there,
know where I
done
just
that.
came from?
Yeah, been there, done that.
She must have bumped her head.
Yeah, I said, you not know just where I came from.
Got the
Like,
number to
girl,
prove it.
I am so military right now, so structured right now, so this, and you think I'm about to, I said, yo, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I will put your ass in the system before I put you 6 feet on the ground. Just know that. And I'm going to get your ass. So you go ahead and run away, do what you got to do, right? Ah, okay. All right, boom. Left it at that. She used to always come back, right? And it came to a point where we was good. She was good. She wasn't running away, but I was still in the mix of shit. So I remember going to detention, to Hartford Juvenile Detention. And I remember going in there and I said, hey, can you guys lock my kid up? And they looked at me and they said, what? They said, nah, man, we trying to fix it before they even get into the system. I said, well, not this one. I said, I'm going to tell you right now. I said, I'm not ashamed to sit there and to come here and ask for help. I have a teenage runaway. I have a 15-year-old who all she wants to do is run away, run away, run away. Can I put her in the system? They said, nah, man, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook you up.
Damn.
Here goes a probation officer, right? You give this person a call and you get connected. So I said, all right, boom, did exactly that. Called the probation officer. Hey, listen, I got a teenage runaway. I need help. Tell me what you can do. Let's come up with something, please, because I need some help right now, right? Like, I'm not going to let my kid, just become this hood rat in Hartford. Got connected with this probation officer. We ended up making a plan. And I remember picking her up and I said, come on, you got an appointment. So she was like, okay, boom, gets in the car.
She thought y'all was getting your nails done inside. Get your hair done.
Yeah.
I've seen that show.
Yeah. Until I pulled up where I pulled up at and she realized it wasn't nails and hair. You know what I mean? So she sat there and she looked at me and she said, why we here?
Ain't no Asian girls here.
Why we here? And I said, hold on a second. I said, wait, don't worry about it. She said, you locking me up? I said, no, I'm not locking you up. Just chill, yo. Come on, let's go. Get out the car.
You got to talk to somebody.
You know what I mean? Come on, let's go. Go upstairs. She already knows something up. You know what I mean? She already knows. She's like, man, she walking up there. She got this stank attitude, bro. Nasty as can be. So she walking ahead of me. So, oh, hold on. Slow down. We going in here. We're going there. Boom. Have a seat. And then all of a sudden, probation officer walks in. I said, oh, probation officer, how are you? I said, oh, meet my child. Oh, the one that you never met because she was always running away. I said, but I introduced her. I said, oh, here goes such and such. Meet my kid. Hey, how are you? I'm probation officer such and such. I just want you to know that when you was running away, me and your mom was coming up with a plan, right? So the plan is this. The plan is, I'm about to do some random pop-ups at your school. I'm about to do some random urine tests at your school, right? And I'm going to put you on house arrest. So slow down. Hold on. Pump your brakes. Yeah, I'm about to put you on house arrest. But no, hold on. I said, but there's more. I said, wait, there's more. Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, there's more. So hold on. You're about to get that ankle bracelet. You putting that bracelet on her? You doing that? Remember what we talked about? Yeah, putting the ankle bracelet on her.
down.
Yeah, so I ended up putting her on house arrest.
Tough love, but you got to do it.
And I remember sitting there telling her that shit. I told you I was going to get you back, right? So I said, now you're not running away from me. Now you're running away from the state. And I used to always sit there and explain, if you think you can take Niantic, if you think you can take that on, then go ahead. But I promise you that you're not going to be able to. Not at this time, not at this age. Not with all that stuff that's going on in your head and your feelings and everything. You won't be able to make it. But we gonna get right though. We're gonna get right. And just like that, my daughter is successful, very successful today. She's doing amazing.
You reeled her in.
Amazing. Married, amazing husband. Love him.
I remember you
my
told me the story. I was like, I got
Yeah.
I remember when this was going on, and you told me
Yes.
you're like, I took her to probation. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Listen, I will put
How
her
many
in the
parents you know would
system.
take their kid in like that?
I ain't
You're
had
like,
no
yo.
problem doing it. No problem at all. So
I did it.
yeah.
I saw the Cheshire for about 2 hours.
Oh.
Yes.
I went to lunch, came back. He's still locked up in the cell. Looking at me like,
Oh no.
no.
Mm-mm. No. Yeah. You have to. You know what I mean? You can't be that parent. You cannot be. I see it way too many times. Where I'm at now, it's just it's hard to see what it's become. You know what I mean? And we live in a society where it's just too much. We're too harsh on each other. Instead of helping each other, instead of building each other, it's just a lot of knocking down and no support. So, that's a big issue. It's a big issue. So, ended up getting a pardon and ended up moving forward. I worked for Hartford Schools as a school safety officer for about good 6 years. Throughout that journey, I had very, very solid people in my life. I remember going back to college, or not back to college because I never went, but I remember going to college when I came out, and I ended up taking criminal justice. There was this one professor there that, when I tell you, this man took the interest, and he saw the potential, right? And I remember taking his courses, and he sat there and he said, "You have the drive. I will open them doors. You better go through them."
That's
And
what you need, somebody to see it. in you.
listen, that man opened that one door. Yo, I flew right to this day. To
Well,
this day, that man is still in my life.
I remember the first time I met you. I remember we started talking. I was like, "Oh," and you told me you were locked up. I'm like, "What?" And
Yeah,
you told me you got your pardon, and told me everything you were doing. I remember the only thing I can ask you is, you writing a book,
that's next.
and you told me, you like, "Come on, stop
I know.
playing." And I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You got a book in you, kid. You got a book in you.
Yes.
Find somebody to help you." I go, "You got a
Yeah.
book in you." That's all I remember
Yeah.
telling you. You got a book in you. Just
Yes.
stop bullshitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I've read some dumb shit. This ain't dumb. I
Yo.
read this shit all day.
Right.
So
Seriously.
So you got your pardon, now you're helping out kids. And I remember you were telling me you were working with some young girls that were trafficked. Ugh, I hate that stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so you're giving back everything you can, and anywhere you can, Kath. That's huge. You're a monster, kid. You're a monster. So the book's going to be called The Comeback.
Yeah. That'd be great. That'd be good. I think that's a good. I
You
think
know
that's
what
a
I
good
mean?
title to it.
You
That's a
know,
good title
you're
to it. Jimmy, you don't
Well-
never Jimmy, you don't never forget where you come from. You and later on in life, if you do make it, for those that are brave enough to move forward, and you come across every obstacle. For a person like myself, it's been door closed after door after door, but you have to keep going through, because there's going to be that one person that's going to open that door. And once you get that one chance, that one opportunity, is what I got. So that one professor, Mr. K, opened up that first door. Uncle Tom right here, that man gave me my first job for the city of Hartford.
I tell people I could take you to the dance. I can't dance for you.
Just like that. And one thing I will not do is make anybody look bad, especially when you put your word out for me. You know what I mean? You giving me that one chance, I'm gonna prove to you more and beyond that what you did was the right thing to do. Because when you are so hungry like I was to make it happen and to become successful, and you needed all these breaks in your life, there's no way of messing that up. So I have these two amazing men that have opened the doors for me. And to this day, I stay in touch with them people, and I remind them every day, bro, thank you. Like, I'll never forget, bro. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for every chance and every opportunity
Don't get me
I
wrong,
can
man.
get.
I love when you call me and tell me, "Hey, Jimmy, I bought a house. Jimmy, I got a
Yes.
new job. Jimmy, I got
Yes.
this." I'm like, "Look at you,
Yeah,
badass."
yeah.
I like, you know what I mean? Even half of the time we play
Yeah.
phone tag.
Jimmy always,
We
yes.
stalk each other. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Like I said, before today, I didn't meet you. We met maybe 10, 15 minutes
Yep.
before we started the podcast. And
Yeah,
I wanted to hear the story because
Yep.
it sounded amazing.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you said, you started from the bottom. Not going to say we're at the top,
Right,
but
right.
you're where you want to be in life
Right.
right now.
Completely.
You got pardoned. You made a
Yes.
mistake in life. You
Mhm.
paid your dues. You got
Mhm.
pardoned. And now you're trying to get
You're
back.
not sitting there
That's it.
going, "Oh my God, feel sorry for me." You're helping kids, So they say when you get to a better place, you're supposed to send the elevator back down. They said when you get to the top, you got to hit the button and send the elevator back down. You sending the elevator back down?
I agree 100%.
Well,
I do 100%.
Gotta send the elevator back down.
Listen. You want success for other people. You want it, but just like you said, I can take you to the dance, but I can't make you.
Can't
I
dance
can't-
for
You
you.
know what I mean? You got to do it for yourself. But the journey that I took, I know that it's available for other people. And the work that I do. So I sit on a panel for the city of Hartford for the reentry program, and the way that we have made it happen now for individuals that are released, it was never nothing like how I had to go through. And I sit there and I say, well, I'm being part of building this new foundation for people that are coming out of prison to make it easy for them to get back into society, right? I said, damn, what the hell was that shit at for me? Bro, I had to go through hell, to get on my feet. I had to go through freaking hell to get on my feet. I ain't know about none of that shit. I ain't know about no programs, no nothing. But I'm proud to say that, today I sit on that panel for the reentry where we do make it happen.
And you have a voice.
You do make it happen. So when you come out of prison, you have somewhere to go. They bring you to that reentry program. They will then, guide you to where you can go, what to do, what
Doesn't you-
programs to take.
You think about it. You do 8 years.
Yeah.
All right, the door opens. Go. The
Shit.
fuck did you teach me? What did I do?
Right.
What
Where
am I
am I
gonna do when
going?
I go?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to where I came from. Guess what?
Exactly.
Here goes recidivism.
Exactly.
So,
And
Re-up.
yes,
it.
and that's one thing that I can say that I've seen, kind of in politics and our laws and our governor. He's pretty lenient, and I don't want to say lenient, but he knows that okay, you made a mistake. Give him a chance. Let's keep moving. Let's keep doing something. You got to help them get out of where they were at before, because if there's absolutely nothing to offer, then the only place to go to is where you were at before. You know what I mean? So, and all that leads up to is doing exactly what you knew what to do that got you in jail the first place. So having to change all that, being able to offer something else, where to go, programs and all types of stuff, that's the only thing that we can do. And at least it's there, because when I came out, that shit wasn't there.
How do these young cats respond to you, male or female, when you look at them and go, "Yo, motherfucker, I was you."
Right.
Right. I got the shirt to prove it. Been there,
Right.
done that.
Right.
Got the tattoo.
Right.
How do they react to you when
Got
you
the
tell them?
lingo. I know
Exactly.
what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not here for a dress rehearsal, motherfucker.
Right. Completely.
I'm not the person that read about it. I've
Yeah.
never done that. Let's talk.
Yeah.
How do they react to you, cats?
So it's kind of amazing, I gotta say. So I want to say that after being with the school systems for 6 years as a school safety officer, I work now with juveniles. So whenever I have to address them, so far so good. Let's just say I get the utmost respect for them. So I am Miss Kathy. I like that. I can deal with that, Miss Kathy. And you carry yourself with that respect where you don't cross the line. I may goof off with you, a little bit.
You're not punking them out for their fruit roll-ups like somebody I know, right?
I don't know what
We
you're
ain't
talking
saying no
about. I plead the
names.
fifth.
Right, yeah, we ain't mentioning no names. Okay. But the respect that I get from them is the respect that I give them. You know what I mean? So in all reality, you also have to understand that even as kids, as I always tell, and I try to tell this to my daughter as well, that even with my 7-year-old, that just because she's little doesn't mean that I'm not going to listen to how she feels and expresses herself. And she's telling me something. I can't sit there and say, "Oh, you're little. Don't worry about it. Like, go." No, just because they're little does not mean
You'll still
that you
validate
can't
her.
respect. Yeah, you can't respect what they're saying.
Validate.
I'm gonna respect and I'm going to validate exactly what you're saying. I hear you, right? Whether it be right or whether it be wrong. And that's what helps build the little ones. And it's the same thing with the juveniles that I'm working with.
I'm not going to
now.
agree with you because then we would both be wrong. But
Yes.
I'm going to listen to you.
Exactly. I'm going to give you the respect, but just because you're a kid, a lot of people will sit there and say or use that excuse, whatever, you're just a kid, you don't know anything. Come on, you're crushing them, bro. You know what I mean?
It has to start somewhere.
You're crushing them. So, and you want to be able to build. You want to be able to build. You want to be able to be that hope, that inspiration. So when I share my story and I let them know, because like I always said, my life is an open book. There's nothing that I don't hide, not one bit. So when I share with my juveniles, listen, exactly that, bro. Like I know where you coming from. I've been there and done that. And I understand that you may have to go through it so that you can learn it yourself. But I've always said that in my life, I feel that I went through what I went through so that you won't have to.
They say experience is the best teacher. Doesn't necessarily have to be your experience. You can learn from other people's mistakes.
Yes.
And if they took a minute to listen to you, they could learn a lot.
That's
Because
it.
you have a great story.
Yeah. So, the whole goal is that if you've impacted one kid, then I feel like it was worth it, because the kids that I deal with now, they need that mentorship. They need the men, they need the women, they need all of whatever they can get. You know what I mean? Because we all come from every walks of life. Everybody has a story, bro. Everybody has a story. I'm fortunate enough to be able to tell mine today, on
On this side of the bars.
Yeah, you
That's
know.
because you decided to persevere. You decided to fight for it. You know,
Yeah.
some people decide they want to become a product of the environment, and the
Right.
story repeats itself.
Right.
You could have went out and done some dumb shit and went back.
Yeah, completely.
And
Completely.
just been a frequent flyer.
And use the
Yeah.
excuse, all odds are against me. This
Right.
is where I came from.
Oh man.
This is what happens
Oh,
every day. If it's
yes.
expected.
Oh
No.
yes. I always sit there and tell myself, I always remind myself, like, I can definitely use that excuse. I can definitely use that excuse whenever I want to become a bum or whenever I want to become an addict, or if I ever thought, I said, listen, I have every fucking excuse there is in the world to become garbage, bro. To become exactly that. I refuse. There's absolutely not one, there's no way in hell. Everything that has happened to me, all the negative in my life, I had turned it around and made it ammunition, gave it fire, gave it power, gave it everything. But that's right there is what's gonna move me forward. And when you sit there and you say no to me, I'm gonna work double hard. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you.
I was always told no means try harder.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you.
I was in high school.
yeah.
Don't look at me that way.
I'm
Judy.
saying unless it's a no where you know.
Easy
Right.
bill, easy bill.
Right, right.
You know?
No
Unless
means
that,
try harder.
right- yeah, that ain't sound right, but we
take
on
that
this
back.
level. We on this level. Yeah, it's different. It's different. It's different.
Tough crowd. Tough
It's
crowd.
different, it's
Tough
different.
crowd here, Cal.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But you know, I have the support today. I have everything. Look, the people that I work with are my very dear, my teammates. That is how I look at it, right? Those people are the ones that, you know, I learn from every day. You know, like I said, I'm a union rep for the agency that I work for, right? That right there, being able to be part of that has given me more and more. I like doing that than I actually like doing my job, to be honest with you. I mean, I love my job, don't get me wrong, but being able to be part of seeing a change and being able to change things is what my power is. You want to be able to give people hope, know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that it's going to be okay as long as you step back and breathe, step out that box real quick. You see your situation, you look at it, you think about it before you make any moves. You know what I mean? And then you go for it. You know, and the biggest thing that I can say is that never ever be ashamed to ask for help. I always, till this day, if I don't know anything, I'm going to go to you. Hey, how do I do this? Or if I don't have an answer for you, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to wait a minute till I get the right answer. But there's always going to be somebody that's going to reach out to you and give you that hand that you need. You know, you can't have that egotistic thing in you
Well,
to say,
I think the
you
only
know,
it's some people have a very hard time asking for help,
yes.
but I think if you're a know-it-all, anytime somebody's a know-it-all, we want to watch them fall on their face. Yes or no?
Mm,
Yeah.
We want to go get a bucket of popcorn. Let's watch this motherfucker.
Mm.
But if you're a humble dude, I know I'll help a humble person.
Yes.
That go, yo, I don't know what I'm doing. Come here, dude.
yes.
Come on.
And
We'll
you
show
have.
you.
I've seen it.
But I'm saying is,
seen
but when
it,
somebody's a
yes.
know-it-all, I think as a human being,
You know it all. You don't need me.
you don't
Right.
need me. Go get a bucket of popcorn.
Right.
Let's
Right.
watch you fail.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's one thing, like, you know, we're both jerks, you know, but we're humble at a time. We don't know what we're doing. Yo, man, you know, can I carry your toolbox? What you need?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We're, you know, we know our limitations.
Yes.
We stay in our lane.
Yes. And that's why I always say, you know, where I'm at today, my job that I have today, I can never say that everything is me. There's no me in my job, because I can't never make a decision without having my teammates behind me. You know, they're the ones that, you know, we build each other, we work off of each other. So, you know, I'm proud to say, you know, as to where I'm at today, you know, my journey and everything else. I remember coming across my sentencing judge one day where I went to go speak at the Capitol. And I actually told
Wow.
that was pretty amazing. That was pretty cool. And that's when they
Give
were
us that. Give us
Listen,
that
I
nugget
will.
before you.
No,
please.
I will. So they were trying to change the law for, you know, juveniles. And of course, I wanted to go speak because I wanted to speak on behalf of my brother, because it was a juvenile that ended up shooting and killing my brother. So I was on that side of it, but yet at the same time, I was a juvenile as well when I caught my case, and I ended up having to do 8 years. So I was in between both, but I wanted to go share and I wanted to go speak. They had to hear me, right? So I go and I speak. It was at the state capitol, and I sat there and I looked up on a panel and I said, actually, Judge, you're the one that sentenced me. And he looked at me and he said, "No, that can't be." And I said, "No, no, you were my sentencing judge, sir." And he said, "Do me a favor." He says, "After this, let me meet up. Go over to the back so we can talk." And I remember, boom, at the end of the session, I ended up going over to the back and I said, "Judge, how are you?" He said, I just have one question for you." He said, "Was my sentence too harsh on you?" And at that time, you know how there's episodes where you see somebody killing each other and you see me killing him and I'm sitting there looking at him.
In my
and-
mind, I'm whipping your
you know
ass
what
right
I mean?
now.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm seeing all types of stuff real quick. It had to be a 2-second thing because I
That
had
was
to
only
judge.
15 years, you asshole.
You know what I mean? Right. 17 years old, and you sentenced me to 15 years suspended after 8. But it's cool though, right? Like, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the judge and I'm like, "Cat, you only got 2 seconds to think of it, and that's that." Right? So say the right thing. Say the right thing. So I sat there and I looked at him and I said, "Judge," I said, "your time was not too much." I said, "If anything, your time was just perfect." I said, "You know why, sir? Because not one day more, not one day less. I am who I am today because of that time. So if anything, thank you. I appreciate it." And he said, "You know what?" He said, "Please stay in contact with me throughout your journey." And to this day, when I got hired for the job where I'm at today, I
And the
ended up
Emmy
calling,
award goes to Kathy
yeah,
Rodriguez.
I ended up calling up that judge and I said, "Sir, this is where I'm working at today at such and such place." And he said, "Congratulations. Move forward. Move forward. Move
Yeah,
forward."
you're a
Move
monster.
forward.
Kathy, you're a monster.
So what a fucking success story.
Mm, mm.
I like I said, I love when you call me and we chit chat here and there when we catch
Oh,
up
yeah.
with each other. We're
Oh,
not
yeah.
playing phone tag.
Right.
Like I said, we play phone tag like we owe each other money. It's hysterical sometimes.
Yep.
Especially when you were on third. That was, I feel
Oh, God.
I know the third shift schedule because I'm
Oh,
living with
God.
him. So
Look.
that's why
third shift,
that's
18
why
and
I
a half
just
years.
that's why I
18
that's
and
why
a
I
half.
just that's why I just text you. I don't even want to call because I go, all right.
Oh,
I know when they go
my
to sleep, they'll silence their phone. I don't want to hit
God.
nobody.
Oh, my God.
But I appreciate you taking time away from the house today, Kath,
Oh, yeah.
coming here to share your story with Ramon and myself.
Before we go anywhere,
And
you're forgetting one thing.
Mm.
hold on.
This phone booth.
Oh, boy.
18-year-old Kathy.
All right.
Oh, boy.
This is a great question for other guests, but I think it's a great question for you.
This is our magic time machine phone booth.
Oh, boy.
If you could pick up that phone
Mm,
and tell 18-year-old Kathy,
mm.
and if you could give her a little insight and say, don't do this, don't do that, what would you tell 18-year-old Kathy?
18-year-old.
Take a second to think about it.
Mhm.
And while you think, I want to send a shout out. Our last podcast when we had Uncle Tom on, we had a guest in the peanut gallery, our boy Juan Tuviguilla. He unexpectedly passed away on us. He was a childhood friend of mine at Ramones, local East Side boy. I just want to give him a shout out. Great guy, great friend. Call him on a Sunday. He'd come to your house, fix your computer because he was a Geek Squad dude. You wanted something from him. The guy never asked for shit. And he would drop what the fuck he was doing for you. Juan Vigilla, this podcast for you, brother.
Mm.
So, Kath, what would you tell 18-year-old Kathy? D. May,
18-year-old Kathy.
what would you tell her on the phone if
Love,
you had her on the other line?
love yourself. Love yourself. It's going to be okay. You don't need to go out there and look for love. You don't need
Fuck
to
the
go
approval.
out there and be loved. Love yourself completely. Who you are in and out. Yourself. Because it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Completely.
So from Springfield to Hartford
To the beach.
to York
Mm.
to security,
Mm-hmm.
bouncing
Yep.
You got a female bouncer?
Wow.
You want to be a bouncer? Yes, I do.
to the school system and then the agency you are, to the
Today.
reentry program,
Yes.
to a union steward,
Yes.
union rep. Wow,
Mhm.
what a success story.
Mhm.
Loved it.
Yes.
Love to hear everything you had to say. And guess what?
Mm.
There's a lot of people that need to hear your story.
Oh yeah.
Write that book.
I agree. I agree. It's rough. Listen, I'm exhausted. I'm not gonna lie, I'm exhausted, right? But I always sit there and I say, when you're tired, we don't get a lot of pat in the back, especially as a mom or even no matter what, a man or a woman. You don't get that pat in the back where, my God, you're doing such a good job, right? Like most of the time, I'm a big advocate for that. Like I like to sit there and tell people, you did amazing. You're doing so good. Keep up the good work, because people need to hear that, because throughout my life is what I heard that made me get to where I'm at today. That push, that inspiration, right? But I always sit there and I always say, when you get that, you don't get that pat, right? So when you feel tired and exhausted, that's when life is telling you, good job. Life is patting you on the back and saying, good job. Because if you weren't doing a good job, you'd be sitting back on the sofa doing nothing. You wouldn't be tired. You'd be chilling. You'd be good. You'd be rejuvenated. You'd be good. But when you are tired, you're putting in. You're putting in. So when you put in, life is going to put in as well and let you know.
True story.
That's it. That's it. You're doing a good job. By the way, you're doing a good job. And by the way, Jimmy, you're doing a good job. I appreciate both of you
You're
guys.
doing a great job.
I appreciate both of you guys.
We
You got me in the
appreciate you.
dust, baby. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, I can
Mhm.
just,
Yep.
you know, this
This world's a fucked up place, and people
Mhm.
need to hear what you got to say because you've been there, done that.
Mhm.
Guess what? You don't
Mhm.
have to live there. I've been there.
Yeah.
This is what's
completely.
gonna happen. Take a
Mhm.
heat of advice.
I'm sorry, but I don't care what college credits you get.
Mm,
Ain't no fucking college credit class gonna be what you got.
That's
right.
what you call the school of hard
I'm
knocks.
sorry,
stop
baby.
playing.
I'm
Yes.
you know, I'm
Yes.
sorry, but you know,
It's an experience, Jimmy, that I sit back and I look at.
but
Every
you're
day.
returning it, Kath. You're putting back into these young cats. You know, you're trying to freaking knock on the coconut and tell them, dude, you know, you're slipping.
Mm-hmm.
Cut that
Mhm.
shit out. And you know, like I said, you are it. You are the experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a faker.
Right.
You know, you're it every day of the week. And whew,
I appreciate it. I do.
I appreciate your your time coming down today.
Mm-hmm.
Ramon, anything for Kath?
Nah, man, I think we covered it all.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you want to come back, Kath, anything.
You know
Hopefully
it.
one day you come back when you tell me you got the book.
Yeah. Oh.
And you better put it on audio for
Mhm.
dumb fucks like me, Ramon.
Yo, stop.
Yeah, put it on audio.
You
Right.
you better put it on Audible, please,
Or
Kath.
big words and put some pictures.
Yeah. That's a
Pop
good
up.
one. This is a cell.
And I don't mean big words as in big words. I mean big font.
Yo.
Ramon's really partial to the
That's
pop-ups.
messed up. Yeah.
Scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, I appreciate you
Oh.
coming down today, baby. Like I said, you know, always love, you know, bullshitting with you here and there when we
Mhm.
do, you know, catch up with each other. Freaking, like I said, we be playing phone tag like racquetball.
Right.
Horrible,
right,
horrible.
Right.
But
Listen.
I appreciate your time. Ramon, we both appreciate your time today, coming down this evening, kicking the ball around with us, driving it around the block.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous story, Kath. I don't think you're done, kid. I think
Mm.
you're far from done. I don't really think your shit's done. I'm
Listen,
sorry.
she's just scratching the surface.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you're just right now warming up, throwing some freaking,
Mm.
you know, throwing a couple baskets around, but you ain't done
Mhm,
yet. I just don't see it out of you.
Mm.
And like I said, you know,
No, there's more. Definitely, there's definitely more in me. Listen, my journey is long. It doesn't end here. You have to keep moving forward all the way,
Yeah.
the way. Yeah.
You don't look like the person that's gonna just sit back.
Nah, I'm not
Dope.
content. I'm not content with what I got. Listen, I'm beyond more than happy where I've gotten to. You know what I mean? And every day,
But
I
there's
thank
more
God.
for you.
Listen, it's Indian.
I was
Sometimes
always
I'm
told,
like, yeah,
I was always told, pleased but not satisfied. I
correct,
always keep that in the back of my head. Pleased but not satisfied.
correct.
I love that.
Yes. There's
Well,
absolutely more.
Kathy,
Yes.
mil gracias to come and grace.
Listen.
Come and grace me and Ramon this evening.
Yes, sir. You guys are amazing.
You know,
amazing.
appreciate your
Yes.
time, baby.
Yes.
Allows, like I said, you're a friend of the podcast now. You
Mm,
come back anytime.
love it.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you to Kathy coming out tonight, sharing her life experiences with us.
Mm.
Take care of each other. Good night, America, wherever you are.
Highly unoffended.